Hi everyone, welcome to Critical Bitches. I'm Jen from Jen's Little Corner. I'm one of your co-hosts tonight. And my other co-host is Amanda, which is Mama Atheist up the top. Say hi, Emma.
Hi.
Amanda. Jen from Jen's Little Corner. And we have Kate, BionicDance herself, as our special
Greetings,
guest.
fellow space travelers. How are ya?
There we go.
Do you want to introduce what we are, Amanda?
Me?
Or do you want
I'm
me to?
Amanda.
Yeah.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. But basically, this show is basically us taking a bit of a critical and irreverent look at the news and other issues that we care to talk about. Just a nice friendly chat between the three of us. Hopefully with a bit of intelligence and certainly with a lot of smack talk.
Oh, that's me out.
Deuces.
Can everyone in the chat hear us fine? As this is a new setup on OBS, I'm not sure if I've got it right, so...
I can hear you. Hi, everybody. They say they can hear us, I guess.
Okay, cool, they can hear
Hi,
us.
Chris.
That is awesome.
Hi, to my son,
Chris. Great debate earlier, Chris.
No, the other one.
Complete dumpster fire. Oh, and Stuttering Chris is there, yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
no, that Chris, that was a debate.
So what caught your eyes in the news this week? I know what caught mine, and I sent you guys a list earlier about a few things, and...
Well, I mean, there's kind of the whole thing about, Mike Pence is now in charge of the coronavirus thing.
Yep.
And I'm just like...
we're all going to die?
Possibly. Although, actually, one thing I haven't been able to find, has anyone just gotten better? Like their immune system stepped up and now they're out the other side of the coronavirus? Because we've heard about people dead, we've heard about people sick. Has anyone gotten better?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, I suppose. I'm actually not 100% sure about that. Is it... I'm sure there are people who have. I mean, we've got good antiretrovirus drugs out there. So, I mean, if you get people on antibiotics sooner enough, that's great English, that is. Soon enough, and you get the retrovirus drugs into them, then there's a good chance they will get over it. They might be very sick for a long time.
But no one's mentioning it is the problem.
Yeah.
I went looking. I mean, maybe my Google foo is weak, but I went looking and found nothing.
Yeah.
No. I don't think
I mean,
I didn't even
we
think
keep
about
hearing
that.
about how many people have had it, but the death toll isn't equivalent to the number of people who've got it. So obviously, not everyone who's got it is dead yet. So there's probably a good chance that there's quite a few people who are surviving. It's just that typical media fashion, we only hear about those that snuff it.
Yeah. Well, and I think Trump is kind of using it to his, advantage right now because he's blaming the Democrats and our open border policies for bullshit.
Or either that, or we're making it out
coronavirus is the Democratic hoax. What?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, seriously, like some people, I think he himself. I'm gonna have to look because I may be completely off on who said what right now, so don't quote me. But somebody, and I think it might have been Trump, said that it was all a conspiracy against his campaign.
Yeah, he did.
The whole coronavirus
that was Trump. Trump calls coronavirus criticism
it's the third hoax.
Democrats' new hoax and links it to immigration.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I know
I've actually
not
got it up for
one.
the people who are viewing. Unfortunately, I can't send it to you guys without messing up the setup we've got on here, but it was in one of the links I sent you.
Well, I know I'm not the only one out there calling it the cerveza virus, but I seem to be one of the few who finds it funny.
Yeah. Angel thought, my son, he's 16. He thought he was really brilliant calling it he comes home one day from school and he's like, the coronavirus, you can beat it with beer. And he thought he thought it up or something. So.
Well, allegedly, there are some complete chowderheads out there right now refusing to buy Corona beer because they think it'll have the virus in it.
Oh my God. Well, yeah.
Was it you who asked about bubble wrap, Kate?
Oh, yeah. I was, and mind you, I was mostly joking. But
I gathered that, but it was still an interesting proposition.
Well, I mean, someone did say to me in all seriousness, don't pop bubble wrap because it might be from China and have the coronavirus in the air. And I'm like, okay, somehow I doubt that a virus will survive inside of your bubble wrap.
Yeah.
And even then, like the bubble wrap doesn't say on it where it comes from. So even if it, like the air, I mean, it may not be from China. It's not I don't know.
Well, considering all the air on the earth circulates all around, we're sharing air with everyone anyway.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
And bubble wrap's injection molded, so it's done at high temperature. The air inside it is pretty heated up when they make it. So the chances of the virus surviving is pretty low. But aside from that, I'd be more worried about where your parcel went to and whose hands it went through on the way to getting to you. I mean I mean, some package handler sneezes on your package. That sneezes on your package. That sounds like a bad porno movie, doesn't it?
They're not strong, Jen.
Yeah, didn't take long, did it?
No.
So someone sneezes on the package you're getting from Amazon. That's way more dangerous than bubble wrap.
Well, you know, it's not outside the realm of possibility either. I've worked in Amazon warehouse, and you could sneeze all the hell over everybody's stuff, and no one would even know.
Oh, yeah.
No.
And what do people do at the post office in searching areas? I mean, I've heard some horrendous stories about what some posties do because, you know, shit hours, horrible wages, and they just get pissed off with shit. So
I think Amazon might be worse, though. I've read the horror stories about them not being able to pee and stuff. So
how many that's pee in boxes?
I mean, that must be a fairly recent thing because when I worked their warehouse, that was not an issue.
Well, it's about like not being like they have to make a certain quota, so it's not like they're not allowed to go to the bathroom. They're just afraid to take up that time to do so. So that's the gist that I'm getting from it. How long ago did you work there, Kate?
Oh, it was pretty long ago. I mean, it was just barely after 2000, I think.
Oh, wow, that is a long time ago. I forget we're about the same age.
Wow.
I always think you're in your mid-30s, Kate. Sorry.
You know, I get that a lot, and I'm pretty okay with it, actually.
Yeah, I would be, too.
Wait, I'm not the youngest person here, am I, for once?
You are, Amanda. You are the
I'm
youngest person.
pretty sure I'm older than Jen, actually.
47 or 40. I can't remember. 47 or 48.
You don't know how old you are?
I'm born in 73, so I'm 47.
Jesus, Jen.
Wow, okay. I actually thought you were younger than me. No, I'm 44.
Yeah, no, I knew I was a couple of years older than you. Well, thank you for that. Yeah. That makes me feel good.
And yet I look the oldest, so.
No, you don't.
I just got the teenage son that's making me old, so. Anyway.
Fuzzy cameras make me look better.
So, does anybody know why he decided to put Pence in charge of this? Like, what was the reasoning?
Oh, it's probably Pence decided to put Pence in charge of it. You can't really think that Pence doesn't pull most of the strings himself.
Yeah.
He has
to. Like
yeah.
It's just like he's just waving a squeaky toy at him, like let's get to the rest of this election. So just go play in the corner over here with this virus, you know.
Well, if you look at a lot of the cabinet positions, though, that have been handed out that have anything to do with medicine or science or any of that, they've always gone to someone who denies whatever it is that their department is about, denies that it's happening at all. Yeah. Like every time in the Trump administration, I hate even saying those words together, but it's always like a climate change office will be filled with a climate change denier, etc. It's So Pence, who is about as fundy creationist as you can get, putting him in charge of something with a disease, he's either going to say the disease doesn't exist, or he's going to say it was a plague sent by God. It's divine retribution. It's the trials and tribulations, blah, 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 blah. We're all going to get snorked up into the clouds next week because of this coronavirus.
Yeah, exactly. And Kushner is in charge of what? Opiates, right? So I don't know what that's about. But
maybe
yeah,
he likes them.
I'm sure he does. If you had to be part of that family, wouldn't you want to be in a little bit of a haze every once in a while? So no, he's I don't get it. I don't even know if Pence really understands how a virus works, let alone anything to do with the healthcare system in this country.
Well, Pence probably thinks it's God's divine retribution for all the heathens out there.
I was going to say the gay people.
Oh, and the gays. Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's all our fault.
Yes, it's all our fault.
Well, I mean, you listen to people like Pastor Rick Wiles, for example. Any natural disaster is God's revenge. It doesn't even matter where it is. Like the hurricanes in Thailand are revenge for gay people in San Francisco. It's like,
yeah.
Your God needs to work on his aim just a smidge.
Just a little bit. I think he's just jealous.
Yeah, you'd hope that their God's one that lifts the toilet seat, wouldn't you?
Right? But yeah. So, but the thing with him turning this around, and like, I love him coming out and immediately saying that the Dems are politicizing it, and yet as he is actually politicizing this, to say that it is all our fault, saying that we want, I mean, okay, yeah, I'm true blue Democrat. I have never said that we should have totally free and open borders. I don't know a single Democrat that has ever said that once. But this is the rhetoric that they're, peddling up. So it's our fault because we want these open borders, and we're just letting all these viruses come through. And the last thing too is that there's no proof whatsoever that anything is coming up through Mexico in terms of the coronavirus at all. But he just, his base is going to completely eat it up.
Well, and there's also I saw an article about people saying, thank God for the wall for keeping the coronavirus out.
the wall with the slats in it.
The one that people can just knock right the heck over. That wall is apparently the safeguard against the virus that's not happening in Mexico, really.
At all.
So that wall blocks airflow between Mexico and the United States. Wouldn't it be nice? I mean, I'd want all you really nice people to get out of there first, but no. Why don't they just get all the people who aren't radical Christians out of the South and into better states, paid for?
Get me the hell out of here!
Yeah, exactly. And then they can build a big dome over, say, Texas, and shovel the fundamentalists under the dome, and they can think their world is flat and has a dome because it does, and leave the rest of us the fuck alone.
That's the thing, though, is they would probably be in favor of that if we switched which side of the dome we were on.
So we were inside and they were outside.
Yeah.
Hey, still, separate is fine by me. They could go all the anti-vaxxers too, because they're usually kind of.
And the flat earthers, because they like that because it's a flat dome.
Yes. Well, the whole what is that thing called? The dome of the flat Earth thing.
Firmament.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Thank you. The firmament. Perfect firmament for them. So.
Yeah, it's firmament 2.0.
Right. Exactly.
And they can have their little god under there. He's the god of their dome. They can worship him all they like and leave the rest of us alone.
Put a giant prism on top of it and tell them it's God's magnifying glass to see them better. It focuses God's attention on them. We can
always attach a big TV screen on the top of the dome, and then every couple of days we can have God appear to them and tell them.
Yeah. Except, they might be confusing God and Trump at this moment.
Trump thinks he's God, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Well, I mean, I actually only recently found out that in Monty Python, the Holy Grail, when God is talking to them, that image of God is like a footballer called W.G. Grace or something. I'm sitting there thinking that if we were to get Terry Gilliam to animate a Trump, but make him look cloudy like he's God, they'd buy it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
Get
there's
them to do
been a
whatever
few
they want
people who've
to.
been claiming Trump as, you know,
Sent by God, yeah.
sent by God, and he's like one of the four horsemen. So, although I could believe him being death to a certain extent, or maybe pestilence is better.
Yeah, pestilence is probably if there were four horsemen for realsies, I think Trump would have to be pestilence.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, most definitely.
And that fits in the coronavirus.
Yeah, the coronavirus just helps that evaluation along. And although, I mean, honestly, he represents almost all of the 7 deadly sins his own darn self.
Mm-hmm.
He does.
Yeah.
Oh, he definitely has gluttony going.
Mm-hmm. And lust. Don't forget lust.
Oh, definitely lust. Yeah, grab him by the pussy.
Toward his daughter. Just pointing that out there.
That was
and
creepy as all fuck. If anything stands out of his most creepiest thing, it was admitting that if she wasn't his daughter, he'd fuck her. I mean, there's something fundamentally wrong with a parent that can think like that.
I mean, like, I know parents who tell their children, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, but parents have to tell their kids that. Telling your kid you're fuckable, on the other hand.
I know, right?
No, it's just
there's
wrong.
A picture from the other day of him going to kiss her, and he's absolutely grabbing her ass. It's fucked up.
She basically is growing up abused by her old man. And that is definitely sexual abuse. Even just the way he talks about her is sexual abuse.
Yeah, I'm just getting this mental image of what he and his son, like he must have had the talk with his son where he's like, son, you're 16 now, so this has probably already happened, but you are going to get mad pussy in college. Just seriously, son, you know, I can totally picture Trump doing that with his male spawn.
Wouldn't it be awesome if Trump Jr. came out as either gay or trans?
That would be awesome.
It would.
That would be awesome. Well, it's kind of like Ron Reagan coming out as gay, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if us in the LGBTQ community really want a Trump, though.
Well, no. I mean, I can see the benefits just because it's like, you know, here's someone who escaped.
Yeah, I mean, people do change. I mean, he'd definitely be out from under his dad's thumb then, and it would change his perception of the world somewhat. I mean, not completely. I mean, you can look at other far-right gay and trans people who are just so close to being self-hating, it's unbelievable. But it does move them closer to a more progressive position.
He's pretty self-hating now anyway, so...
Yeah, you probably won't notice any difference. You're quite right, aren't you?
Yeah.
Man, I'm just trying to picture what it must be like to be like immersed in right-wing culture and then realize you're homosexual.
Right?
Like you're raised by Ned Flanders and all of those folks, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I'm surrounded by all these people. I can say nothing. Because it wouldn't be okay if I did. I can't picture it because I was raised by hippies in Vermont.
Oh yeah, okay? I remember.
I know what it's like to not be afraid of telling your parents something about yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, you know, telling them, Mom, Dad, I'm a lesbian was no big deal. If I told them, Mom, Dad, I'm a Republican, they would have lost it.
Yeah, I know.
I've got to bring up what Chris, Atheist Pastor, brought up in the channel. He actually said, for all his faults, I don't think Trump is anti-LGBT. Trump actually has the history and policy to show that he is.
He's probably okay with girl-on-girl porn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine he would be. And he'd probably love to be in a room watching two girls at it. But aside
Although,
from
honestly, most of the, like, lesbian porn you'll find is clearly two straight girls paid to be gay.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, being anti-LGBT is not just pro-same-sex, is not just about same-sex marriage, Chris. He has constantly tried to put in legislation that would limit the rights of LGBTQ plus folk. especially trans folk, but in everyone under the umbrella. And if he had the option, he and his party would roll back those same-sex marriage laws in the US. So no, he has a really, really bad track record with anything LGBTQ. So he's not good. His party's woeful. So yeah, no, there is no positive there from the Republican Party at all, really.
See, one question I've had for a while is, I mean, because when I was littler, gays were all the rage to hate. Although actually, I think I was still around for a bit of the Cold War. I remember when people were saying how bad commies were, and that seems to be making a comeback because of Bernie, but whatever. And then there was all this hatred against gays. I don't know how many people remember in the 90s when you wanted to say something was shitty. Oh man, that's so gay, right? And all of that. But now gay people have been normalized. Now they're hating on the trans folk. I'm wondering, once being trans becomes normalized too, who's next on the chopping block for the right wing? Who are they going to hate next?
Oh, well, I don't know.
Furries. It'll be furries. Just watch.
It'll be furries, yes. Well, they're already moving in on furry territory, aren't they? So, they're heading in that direction. They're heading to anything that they can find that less people will be accepting of. So they've moved down the thing. If they win one, like if they actually came out ahead with trans people, they will move back to attacking gays and lesbians.
Probably.
So it was actually in one of their the Christian rights policy manifestos that got leaked that this was actually their process. If we lose the war on marriage, we move back and we start on the next peg down, which is going to be trans people. When we win that, we can come back up. And they won't just come back up. If they came back up and they wanted against lesbians and gays and bis, they will move from there and attack women. That's what it'd be. It'll be a complete movement.
Circle.
Have they won one yet, though? Have they ever won on a social issue, like, ultimately?
No, not yet, so I don't think they will.
It's kind of like those folks who go around flying the Confederate flag. And it's like, dude, you realize you lost, right? And they're like, oh, but it's an identity. Okay, you're identifying with people who lost.
I live in Georgia. You can tell I'm from Connecticut, actually, originally. But I live in Georgia right now, and it's everywhere. And it's always, I try to point it out that this is like one of my son's friends got a Confederate flag for Christmas. And he didn't even really think about it. And I pointed out to him, it's racist. And I explained why. And he had really no idea. He was just like, well, this is just our history. It's our culture. And I'm like, no, dude. And it's, even if you felt that way, it's still offensive to people. And therefore, if it's offensive to them, you should rethink flying it on your truck or whatever. So,
I mean,
but in terms, go ahead.
Well, for a very long time, the only association I had with the Confederate flag was the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, well, that's true. A lot of people.
That kind of normalized it to some extent too, which was not necessarily a good thing.
No. Yeah.
I mean, because you got to admit, the car looked cool.
Well, yeah. I always liked that they climbed in through the windows.
Yeah, that was the only thing about the show I actually liked.
What was the car?
We
have just discussed everything I remember about that show.
Yeah, basically.
Wait, no.
There was Boss Hogg, wasn't there? Or something, and he had a daughter.
What? The Daisy Duke shorts.
Oh, yeah. Daisy Dukes became an icon of their own. So.
Those are nice. Yeah, but I mean, her specifically. It's a nice image, so.
I'll grant you that.
But in terms of Trump's not just attacking the LGBT community, these religious not laws, but exemptions that he's making so that people can discriminate more freely. The whole, I'm not going to make you a wedding cake because you're gay or whatever, because it's my religion, that kind of bullshit. And he's making that, more and more the law as far as he can push it. And I think I wish there was I understand the whole, religious freedom and everything, regardless of being an atheist. I think everybody should be able to believe what they believe.
Yeah.
But I don't think that you should be able to hate or discriminate and use your religion as an excuse for that. There should be some kind of, like middle ground here that people can practice their religion, but also people can not be hated for being who they are.
Well, I think that people should, if they're going to be in a position where they're dealing with the public, they should have to sign something that says they're leaving their religion and politics at the goddamn door.
Yeah.
It's like if you want to practice your religion at work, you can't be a doctor, you can't be a clerk or a teller, you can't be any of that stuff. You might be allowed to be a cubicle monkey,
Yeah.
But if your politics are going to in any way affect your work, if your religion is going to make it so you just decide certain people are not going to be worthy of your service or whatever, I'm sorry, you're not allowed to have that job.
Yeah. And we have almost perfectly segued into another article, which is the third of Poland declared an LGBTQ-free zone.
Wait, there was one thing I had left about the. I'm sorry, one thing left about Trump. Yeah, no, there was this line, I had to write it down. He says that his administration's response to the coronavirus is the most aggressive action ever taken in modern history. Those are his exact words. About toward what and in what context? I don't understand what the fuck that means.
He's going to get the army and they're going to shoot the virus.
Well, even if we limit it just to diseases, we've done so much more faster and better.
Yeah.
I mean, we eradicated polio, for fuck's sake. How can you say that's fast and aggressive? No.
No, I can see his claims, the way he makes claims. I just thought that was literally the most aggressive action in modern history.
Yeah, but Trump is all words and no action.
Yeah, so sorry, that was the last thing.
I mean, it's not even that. Trump is all about action as long as the action is filleting himself.
Yeah,
you think he can actually do that? I mean, one, I suspect his penis is quite small, and two, I doubt he's that flexible.
It's been
he's got too much padding in the way to go down on himself, I'm sure.
The little mushroom guy from Super Mario Brothers. Somebody said that's what his penis looked like. I swear to God.
You know that there was those statues going up around the country. There's like 6 of them or whatever of Trump standing there naked.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I actually have a picture of me like pointing over my shoulder, the one that was in Seattle. And yeah, he was hung like a baby carrot that had already been bitten and chewed.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that was an accurate depiction, but based on what you're saying, it may well be.
Yeah, apparently
people are complaining we're not reading the chat.
Oh, sorry. It was actually 2 separate women described similarly. One said the Super Mario mushroom, and then the other one, it was the same thing, but they hadn't heard each other speak, but it was the same image. But I mean, honestly, if you think about it, him having the tiniest, stupidest penis would just make so much sense.
Well, it would. It really would.
All that compensating.
Yes. By a million miles, so.
Zed Postate just called him a fucking orange lizard alien asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, he was doing business in the 80s when all the business people were like snorting coke and everything. I have to wonder, because I know that there are some drugs out there, and it might be weed, might be coke, I don't know, that will make your winky shrinky. So I have to wonder.
Coke. I mean, Wall Street, he lives in the Wall Street area in the 80s. But yeah, he did all the coke. He did. So, yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry I'm not really paying attention to the chat, the text chat, because the vocal chat is just so interesting. And I'm also trying to manage producing at the same time. So, yeah, I'm a little bit off my game. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. We're just that interesting, the 3 of us. Sorry.
Did you actually have a question, John Watson? Because if you did, you might have to repeat it, because I'm not going to scroll back up and try and find it. So if you have a question, put it back in and I'll try and get to it. In the meantime, this third Poland declared an LGBTQ free zone. So So Polish municipalities across the greater area the size of Hungary have adopted resolutions that critics say discriminate against LGBTQ people and make intolerance official. So basically they've said you can't promote anything positive about LGBTQ plus people within these local government areas. You're not allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed to be visually gay, lesbian, or trans. You're basically pushed into the closet if you live in one of these areas. And they're saying it's not anti-LGBT. It basically fucking is. I mean, how can it not be if you're not doing that?
No.
And also, I mean, okay, granted, I realize this question is mildly disingenuous, but how is someone visibly LGBT anyway?
Yeah. I was thinking that.
Well, I mean, there are trans people who unfortunately don't pass well and are visibly...
Well, there is that, but I mean, I was just picturing a perfectly straight chick could go walking around dressed like Tank Girl. I could go walking around in a goddamn cocktail dress, and maybe you'd know, maybe you wouldn't. I don't know, but lesbians dress all kinds of ways, and straight people sometimes look...
That's right.
Like they might be a little on the gay side. I mean, the metrosexual is a thing for a reason.
It's their stereotypical thought, like some, butch girl with a mohawk or some shit, and that's the lesbian, or some guy in a dress is the gay guy. I mean, I'm sure that's what they're imagining, but it comes from the PIS. I don't know what exactly that stands for. It's the right side, and they're the Justice Party. So it's, I guess, they're the right wing party, and they seem to be kind of taking over, and they're the ones adapting these laws and saying that it's all about pro-family resolutions that they're pushing, because they jump immediately to LGBT people are pedophiles and rapists and this kind of bullshit, which is horrible rhetoric that I'm tired of hearing. But
the whole pro-family values thing always knocks me out. Like, what if there's people who are gay, they'll give other people the gay and they'll be gay, and gay will keep spreading until everyone's gay? It's like, no, if there's someone who is totally into someone of the opposite sex, they're gonna have sex, or they'll probably have sex then get married, but either way they're gonna do the whole heterosexual have kids thing, most likely. Barring weird unforeseen circumstances, they're probably going to do that, and other people being gay won't affect it whatsoever.
Yeah, so, exactly.
I mean, right, you can't be pro-family values that way.
No. And one thing I think is really interesting too is that every single time when it does come back to this, when the really hateful right turns it around to child sex or some shit like that, us on the LGBTQ side, we never brought children or sex or child sex into it. They're always the ones thinking about sex with children. So
and this is why they still have this hate on for trans kids, where kids are affirming their identity when young, and they go, oh, but you're going to be giving them surgeries and shoving them full of hormones. Well, no, that's not how any of this works, you dickheads. Go and actually read an article.
Well, I mean, I would love it if these people on the right could at least argue the points as they're made by the other side. Like they all need a lesson in steel manning, and then maybe we can have a legit conversation. I think the only reason they don't do that is because they know they'll lose if they argue the issue they see as a problem on its own terms. Well, the only way they can win is lying.
Yeah, because if they try to argue it from any form of actual truth, their bigotry just shows through. And then you're basically saying, well, I don't like it because I hate that. And that's not an argument. Just because you don't like something isn't an argument against it.
Yeah.
So now I've got to go 5 minutes without making a dad joke just so that Amiga Nuts will lose 200 Quatloos, whatever the frig a Quatloo is.
You can always tell a mum joke instead.
I know my mom's sense of humor. I'm not going there.
The catalyst to this whole thing, the reason this all started was February a year ago. So it's only been a year of this. The mayor of Warsaw, I think, had enacted a safe LGBTQ charter for everybody in the community, but specifically, kids and families and stuff like that. So that to be able to have a dialogue and to have openness and accepting in the community to the rest of the community, which just ended up turning it on its head. And that's how it all started, because for some reason this PIS group, the Justice Party, decided, well, we can't have that. So
it's a Catholic-based party, so it's heavily it's heavily fundamentally Catholic. So the Catholic Church is inherently bigoted as it is, which is just amazing for an institution that prioritizes sex with little boys.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is like, if you look into some of the history of it, it's like way back in the day, if a guy realized, oh, heck, I'm gay, I'll never get married, this, that, or the other thing, the parents who wanted to sweep that under the rug would say, go into the church then.
Yeah.
And so that's probably where the whole idea of the pedophile priest comes from, is they throw all these gay guys into a space, and I guess there's altar boys, I don't know. But I mean, that's probably where the stereotype comes from, is just because the church is packed with gay dudes.
I always wonder, my uncle is he's a Monsignor, and he's always been just like super femme. So, but the thing is, he was the one boy. There's 3 girls and 1 boy. So, it would have made sense for him to make to raise a family and stuff. But instead, he went right into the church. So I was kind of wondered if he was just, where
was he in the birth order?
First.
Oh, interesting. Because I mean, I've heard that it's much more likely you'll be gay the further along you are in the birth order.
Yeah, is that what happened with me?
That is actually, there was a paper written on it.
And yes, Robert X, gay is not having sex with boys. I'm saying that's where the stereotype came from. Stereotypes are usually not legit.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's interesting though. If you come now to see progressive churches like the Uniting Church in Australia, the Uniting Church in Australia has an abundance of gay and lesbian ministers. But they, of course, are okay to be gay or lesbians within the church because the church approves of that. It even conducts gay marriages within Australia. So you're like, interesting.
The Catholic Church isn't quite there.
I mean, there's a lot of churches out there that might as well just be clubhouses for all the God talk they do. Oh, I mean, I don't know if you've ever hung out with Unitarian Universalists at any point, but they're really just, I mean, it's like hanging out with people at a backyard barbecue is what it's like. There's barely any religion in it, it seems like.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that.
So, I don't think I've ever. John Watson told me not to spend it all at once. I have no idea what all of it is, but he asked me to read that out.
Well, I recall seeing 200 of something.
200
pounds, I think. Yeah.
Which would be lovely if somebody could actually do that for me, but I am not monetizable yet, so.
Now people are saying this thing about Quatloos, and it sounds like it's a sci-fi or fantasy reference. I don't know what the frig
did somebody make a bet about how quick it would be before I said something rude or disgusting on the stream, and that I won? Well, that was bound to happen. I don't think that's a safe bet at all.
We haven't said anything that bad, considering. Yeah, I haven't made any clone incest jokes yet. So.
I'm trying to figure out which one it is you want me to read, John. So, yeah.
I don't know. If someone suggested I have sex with my clone, I'd be beside myself.
I wore earrings for you. They're TIE fighters, Kate.
Sorry, what?
I wore my TIE fighter earrings just for you.
Oh, okay. Your image on my screen is kind of small.
I know you asked if I read
chat. That's really awesome. Oh, a Star Trek episode. Okay. I knew it was a sci-fi fantasy thing. No, sorry, the Quatlus, I mean.
Wait, so what, Jay? What did we say that was offensive?
It was about Trump sucking himself off, I think.
Well, that would have been my
Oh, it was something about Monty Python. Yeah, we love Monty Python. Python is awesome.
Who doesn't? I've actually found some parents now who are delinquent in their duties to show their young offspring Monty Python.
That's unfortunate. I've seen all of them.
I mean, because like I made some sort of, it was probably a Holy Grail reference at one point, and some kid was like, huh? And I'm like, Monty Python, who? And I'm like, oh my gosh, tell your parents they're doing a lousy job raising you.
All right.
Failed.
John Watson has said, critical bitches get super chat. So that we can, so that we actually notice when people want to send us. P.S. I live about half a mile away from the castle where Monty Python threw the cow. Which is awesome. Absolutely awesome. You should take some photos of the castle and post them up for people to see. Because there's a lot of Monty Python fans within the community. So
yeah.
So,
a bunch of nerds.
Shame about Terry Jones.
It is.
Oh. Yeah, that was sad.
It is.
Very sad about that. One of the problems with, if we wanted to go back to the topic, with this whole issue in Poland right now is that it's getting violent. They're attacking pride parades, and what they ended up doing was there was one day. Wait, what day was it? It wasn't that long ago. No, it was in July. In July, they were doing pride parades, and they organized it. The PAS people organized it to have 40 demonstrations, which was pretty much just attacks against a pride parade all at once in one day, so that the government would they thought that they would make it so the government would like ban the pride parades because it got so violent, and it almost did. Somebody almost lost an eye because they were fighting against each other, and it was, especially during the summer last year, it got really, really violent, and they're just not, they're going against anything, any time that they try to be open in public. The PIS group is just being awful and violent about it. So.
When the NFIB quasi-threatening violence during a pride parade, they basically said if any gay people got in their face at all, they would reserve the right to defend themselves with lethal violence.
Well, I'm trying to wonder how, under what circumstances is a gay person getting in someone's face unprovoked?
Exactly. But
yeah, it's like I said something homophobic at you. Okay, well now I'm angry about it. Haha, you're getting in my face. I get to kill you now.
Yeah. And that was what that was actively what the NFIB were promoting within their sermons. That you antagonize these paraders to the point where one of them gets in your face, and if they get in your face, you're within your rights to shoot them. Because
some of them.
Pretty sure that's not true.
What is that law called? Oh God, I hate it when I forget things.
Which law?
The one that if you think you're in personal danger, you're allowed to shoot to defend yourself.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, there's a couple of states that actually have it, and I can't remember what it's called.
American states?
Yeah, a couple of states in America that have that as a law, and I can't remember what it's called. Mr. Atheist actually did a video on it, but I can't remember what the law is actually called. But yeah, they were trying to promote the use of this law so that they could use their guns to kill gay people. Stand your ground. Thank you, Amiga Nuts. It's called Stand Your Ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
I probably should have got that. Your description felt backward to me.
It was a bit weird. Yeah,
like what would have triggered that memory? You would have had to say what you said in reverse.
Sorry.
You didn't say it wrong. I'm saying I was the problem.
No, that's all right. This is clear as mud.
Another thing, when looking into the what's going on in Poland, is that people are comparing it to the way Russia targets their LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
And so a lot of misinformation and lies about who they are, and in order to kind of push the narrative over to their side and make them the victims, them being the right side, their family values are being encroached upon and whatnot. So I thought that was really interesting, because it seems to be kind of infecting the shit that Russia is pulling pretty much everywhere now, so.
I'm going to go somewhere dark now.
Oh dear.
With the current progression with genetic testing, where they found quite a few different markers that point to people either ending up being gay or trans. What do you think's the chances of some, especially Christian families, using this as a form of eugenics?
Well, I would say to them, okay, so are you for or against abortion now?
Yeah.
Because there are already some people who will abort kids that they know are going to be Down syndrome. And even Christian people will do that. And yet they're against abortion. They're only against abortion if it's going to be their perfect little kid.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they're also against abortion if it's you and not me.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, you're not allowed. Like, I get to regulate your uterus, damn it. And you have nothing to say about mine because you're brown. Or poor. Or both. Or all three. Doesn't matter.
But it does worry me for our future somewhat that we can place a higher value on a life just because we think it's more normative. I find that concept disgusting to a large extent. I mean, I understand if you're going to... if the kids... the child's basically going to be next to brain dead. And that's going to be an incredible tax on you as a family to bring up a child that is incapable of anything. I can understand the desire to abort. I don't necessarily think that's right, but I understand the desire in that situation. But if you're talking about somebody whose only sin in the world from your perspective is they're going to be gay or trans or have Down syndrome, that's a ridiculous proposition to my mind and completely immoral.
Well, I have to wonder, I mean, you hear about that whole one-child program they had in China for a while that I think they've relaxed a bit. But apparently because they had the overcrowding and couples were only allowed one child. And so people were hiding pregnancies or births even of little girls, either abandoning them or killing them, because everyone wanted a son in order to carry on the family name, the family line, et cetera, all of that stuff. I'm not saying they're right, I'm saying they're stupid, but that was their idea. And I have to wonder what it would be like in this country where people could say, I want a boy, I want a girl, I want one. Whoa.
Oh, what happened? Did we lose Amanda? We lost Amanda. That
I'm sure. Well, I was talking. It was clearly my fault. She just didn't like me that much. Apparently, I'm kidding. I don't know what happened.
I will turn Amanda's one off, and I will try and reposition you.
She says sorry, Wi-Fi issues in the chat there.
Okay.
Yeah,
but I mean, coming back in, Amanda, because if you are, I won't bother fixing too much. I will just shift Kate up.
I suspect that, like, these Christian families will probably be a lot more permissive is the wrong word. Liberal is definitely the wrong word, but let's just go with either one of those, but not their more common meanings. Their more literal meanings. When it comes to having children be... eugenics is the wrong word here. Basically, if they have genetic engineering and so they can make their perfect kid out of their own DNA, I'm sure they'll be a lot happier with that than they ever will be with actually aborting gay children.
Oh yeah, I think that might happen.
I'm sure there are people out there who would still do it anyway.
Yeah.
Manifold said in the chat, if you're fine with abortion, why is it an issue to choose what zygote you abort or not? Because I'm not necessarily fine with abortion. It's a very big leap to say that being pro-choice is the same as being pro-abortion.
Pro-abortion.
I don't know too many people who are pro-abortion.
No.
Yes.
You'd have to be like, a crazy person who wants the entire world to be destroyed to be pro-abortion.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm certainly pro-bodily autonomy.
Yep.
Yes,
and I'm
absolutely.
pro-choice, and I wouldn't try and stop these people from doing that. I just feel it is morally wrong.
What do you think about when not Utah, Ohio had that idea that they were going to re-implant
Yeah.
ectopic embryos?
Pregnancies.
Yeah. Not
That
possible.
was fucking insane.
And you would kill the woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had an ectopic pregnancy, and it almost killed me. That was terrible. It was a terrible experience to go through, let alone the way that they were writing the law, it seemed to be that it wasn't the woman's choice either, that it was just going to like she couldn't say one way or the other, aside the fact that scientifically it was just impossible. It's necrotic tissue, and the embryo is dead, but for them to say, we're going to do this, and this isn't your choice, and it's probably going to fucking kill you too. Like, that was.
Yeah, I mean, these are people whose whose entire knowledge of science probably comes from the last movie they watched that had a zap ray in it or something.
Right.
I mean, these are like the same sorts of people who would walk onto the floor of Congress with a snowball and say global warming isn't happening. You know. So their whole mental image is probably just, oh, there's a baby that needs to be put in the right place so it can totally be born. Like whether or not it's actually possible and whether or not it's actually a baby rather than a tiny little that big little clump of cells. I mean, that doesn't matter to them. All that matters to them is that the end result is a cute cooing little baby.
And then, but once that baby is born, they're going to cut their, any kind of food stamps or housing or anything like that, because we're pro birth here. We're not pro life. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Right. So.
I'm not even 100% certain they're pro birth. They're pro pregnancy, and that's all we really know.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not. They're certainly not pro life, because they don't give a shit once the kid's born.
Yeah. No. And how many of them actually play the board game, eat the cereal, or read the magazine anyway?
Right?
Exactly.
You can't be pro-life if you're not totally digging on Life cereal. I'm sorry, you can't.
I loved Life cereal. This shit was good. The cinnamon one, definitely.
That joke, too.
Not to be an
that wasn't really a dad joke.
Wasn't really, was it?
Not to be a presumptive asshole, but does anybody doubt that Trump's paid for a few abortions in his life?
He's probably covered up so many.
Yeah. So I always found that really
a few coat hangers too.
Yeah. We're Absolutely Fabulous. You guys ever watch that show?
Yeah. I know the show. I could not get past the first episode. There was something about it.
Okay. There was a coat hanger joke in it. Anyway. But no, I just think that the his whole super fight against abortion and all of that, when you know that he's paid for many of them in his lifetime. So it's gross. He's gross. I hate him.
I don't know. I can't even picture, I look at his wife, and number one, she's super creepy. I wonder what she looks like without the eye makeup. That makes her look like a raccoon, because seriously, she does not look human. Honestly, she doesn't.
I already said, if there was ever any real evidence for lizards in the alien lizards in government, it's Trump's family.
Yeah.
But I mean, just like even the vaguest thought of him lying on top of her and her allowing it. Yeah, it makes me want to vomit. I cannot imagine a woman willingly bedding Trump. I just can't picture it.
Yet it obviously happened because he's got kids.
Yeah. There was this video the other day of him he was getting out of the limo, and he hit his leg went like that to her, and she went toward him. It was fucking weird.
Well, did you see that thing he was doing where it was like him and a bunch of world leaders, and he just shoved his way through them to be able to stand in front of the camera? Yeah. I mean, he is a child. He never grew up.
No, he definitely did not grow up, and he's gross about it. And it's like him going after Greta, like just in such a despicable manner. She is a child, okay? She is an actual child, and you're gonna talk about her like that, and like literally stare her down in a crowd, like. What the fuck, dude?
But she was better than it. That was the best part about it. She was so much better than it. And her comeback was outstanding. And I'm sorry I can't remember exactly what it was now, but it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I love her. She's brilliant. But
oh, come on, Laura. Greta's not an annoying brat.
No, she's not.
She's
we love
articulate and intelligent. Everything Trump isn't.
Yeah, that is the scary part, is how much more bright she is than Trump.
Yeah,
and she does go to school, Laura. That's exactly why she's more intelligent than Trump.
Well, man, as I understand it, Trump's dad taught him that winning is the only thing. That is the most important thing, is to win, right? Which explains so much of his behavior. Because so much of his behavior is just, look at me, I'm number one, I'm on top. I'm the best.
You know, his whole reasoning for becoming president, right, was because they wouldn't they wouldn't give him the Emmy for The Apprentice. So he bitched about it, and then they got rid of The Apprentice, and so this was his like, I'm going to get you back moment. I don't know how it connected in his head that I didn't get an Emmy and I lost my show, so fuck you, I'm going to be president. But yeah, so that's how it turned out.
I mean, whatever. I get the idea that the need for revenge, but that just seems a little, off topic there.
Yeah, it did.
Right? The two don't follow.
No. But before he was elected, did you see the interview of him where they asked him if you could describe what you want, how you want, one word that would encapsulate your presidency, what would it be? And he said victory. And yet they just asked Bernie the same thing on an interview, and his was compassion. I think that's everything you need to know about those two.
Yeah.
I one of the many reasons I could never be president is my sense of humor. Because if someone said to me, like one word that would define your presidency, pizza.
No pineapple, Kate. No pineapple.
Okay, I will say Hawaiian style's okay, but pineapple belongs on no other style of pizza. It's pineapple and ham or no pineapple.
That's how I feel. I don't understand people who just put the regular pineapple on it, but if it's with the ham, I like it.
But I mean, my point is that you should never ask me that sort of question, because I will give you a flippant answer. And that's one of the many reasons I won't be president ever. I mean, aside from the fact that I don't even want the job, I would never be president because my sense of humor would make people think either I'm insane or need to be destroyed.
Right. Yeah, probably.
Okay, is Laura just a bot that's here to disagree with everything? Because you can't say pizza is what's wrong with America if you're not trolling for responses.
Yeah, I think Laura's just purely a troll.
All right, well, nice
Get
to
back
have
under
you,
your bridge, Laura.
Yeah.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Nacha. Whatever, Nacha.
Oh, so Laura's not even an American. Okay, so she's criticizing you without being an American.
No, Americans need exercise.
Judgment.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, well, I have virtual reality, and that's how I exercise.
Yeah.
You don't at the moment, though, do you? Because...
Oh, that stupid... Don't even get me started on just the runaround that Oculus has been giving me. There's times I should have gotten PSVR, I think. I don't know, but anyway. I might do a video about it if they piss me off anymore. Well, I mean, my reach may not be huge, but it's not small, and most of them are geeks and gamers. So if I start bad-mouthing Oculus Rift on my channel, people are going to hear about it.
We've hit the hour. Do we want to move on to another topic, or do we want to call it there, girls?
I think we could do the one about the school, and
I'd like to do the one about the school. I think it was kind of that sort of thing, so I might have to shift it in the window because... Oh no, there it is. You can't quite read the top of it though. School policy forbids kids from saying no when asked to dance. Alicia Hobson's 11-year-old daughter Aslan, which I know Kate's going to have words to say about her name, was counting down the days until Valentine's Day dance at her Utah middle school. She was so excited she could barely sleep, Hobson told Today. Parents noting that the 6th grader picked out her outfit a week ahead of time. It was supposed to be the best day ever, said Hobson 37, but it wasn't. That afternoon, Aslan got home. She had an emotional explosion in the kitchen while recounting how a boy who makes her uncomfortable had asked her to dance. She politely said no thank you, and then the school's principal stepped in and said, "You're not allowed to say no," and dragged the 2 kids out on the dance floor and forced her to dance with him, saying this is school policy, and it's not the first time the school has done it. Now, if that's not bordering on fucking rape culture, I don't know what is.
You're taking away the idea of someone's bodily autonomy.
Exactly. You have the right to say no to people. Women should always be encouraged to have the right to say no to people, and especially young girls who are learning about this. If you take away their right to say no, then they think they never have the right to say no, and you've got to promote the right to say no. This is entirely wrong. There is no right ground in this at all.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I read the article and I understand their reasoning on a certain level, because they were like, well, we want kids to be able to feel included. And speaking as someone who was indeed an outcast during my school years, as I'm sure a lot of us were, it would have been nice to be included a little bit more in certain things. But at the same time, we are talking about a dance where people are touching each other, and it could get a little... probably in this school probably won't start getting a little grindy or anything, but there's still a romantic aspect to it for the most part.
And middle school though, here, aren't you? Aslan,
that's why I say it's not going to get grindy. Yeah. But
it could get grabby though. So
true. That's where I was going with this. It's like. So, I mean, on the one hand, yes, it's great to have kids be included, but on the other hand, this is not the way to do it.
Yeah. I
read,
I remember reading an article a while back about with toddlers. You know how a lot of people will, their parents will make them hug people, like, oh, give them a hug, that kind of thing. I think this falls under that same line. Whereas, you're telling this toddler, you're telling these middle schoolers that they don't have a choice here, that it is not their choice to give, it is not their body to make this decision. And I think that is a huge mistake. And at the same time, like you guys said, the inclusivity thing is important, but this, autonomy and feeling yourself as your own and being able to say no, especially as a young girl, is much more important.
Yes,
I have no intention of having children ever. A cat is enough responsibility. But if I did, and if I had a daughter, I mean, I wouldn't want to force this, but I think we would both be taking like family martial arts classes from a very young age.
Yeah.
So that even if you're not allowed to say no, you have the ability to kick someone's ass up between their ears if they get grabby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think actually, honestly, I mean, with just being a woman, I almost feel like, because I have one kid and it's a boy. But had I had a daughter, I would have liked to have had something, to teach her to be able to protect yourself from the grabbing, but do it in the right way. Because we're all girls here. We've all had our asses grabbed, been touched. The whole some guy putting his hand on the small of your back, that kind of bullshit.
Even just the way they say something to you.
Yeah.
You can have somebody say love to you and not have it feel creepy, and then you can have somebody who says it to you and you want to just run out of the room.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
it's just a vibe that's given off, and the way a thing is said. And you've got to know when the right time is to make sure there's either somebody else around there to help protect you or to get the hell out of there. And young girls have to learn these things. You have to learn this. I've got 2 daughters, and it is really hard to instill with young teenage girls how important it is to look out for yourself, because you have to.
Yeah, and that makes sense. But at the same time, you have this need to like be nice about it. I don't know. I mean, the way I was raised. It was always about presenting that, be ladylike, be sweet, and be kind, and be amenable to pretty much everything. And that. Yeah. That really sucks.
I mean, in all honesty, I would discourage that. I discourage that in my girls. They go, you be yourself, you be strong, and you stand up for yourself. But you also know when to get the fucking hell out of there, because not everybody is safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, and I don't know if this says anything about me or them or what, but usually when I get harassed for one thing or another, it's not so much a sexual thing. It's usually more like if I say something at all intelligent, oh, that's so great coming from you. Oh, and it's like, dude, I'm probably smarter than you, and here you are, now pat, you think you're people.
Yeah.
Get away from me, bitch.
No.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, I get that a lot too.
The condescending nature. I mean, I've worked in the IT industry now for how old am I? 30 years, and I will walk into somewhere to buy something, and they go, "Oh, can I help you? Here, I'll tell you about it." And I go, "I already know about it." They go, "Oh, no, I'll have to tell you about it." Fuck off! I've worked in the industry longer than you've been alive.
Yeah. Part of the reason I moved into climate science, when astrophysics was a patriarchy of epic proportions. It was and to be heard. I mean, very difficult to be surrounded. Be in a room full of men that just that all on the same page. You all have the same degrees and everything, and yet they do that oh, isn't that sweet coming from you, boobs or whatever. Like, you're just boobs to them. So yeah,
computer science isn't much better. It's a little bit better because more women have moved into it now, so at least I wasn't the only girl in the class. But it's not that much better. It's a bit better. There does tend to be a lot less patriarchy though from the men actually in the industry. The industry itself is shit though. The consumer base of the industry is very male orientated and very vocal in its patriarchy. Unfortunately.
Try working in video games sometime.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's where I was headed with that.
Definitely
the video game industry is a patriarchal cesspit.
It's a sausage fest like you wouldn't believe, is what it is.
It's nuts. The math side of things, though, is whilst there are still more men involved in higher level maths than women, it's not like that. It is very much seen as an area of peers, so that is very different. So I really enjoyed doing the math I did, but I actually was doing more major in computer science. So I didn't do enough of the maths. I should have changed my majors around to done the maths.
But
yeah,
I get that.
Although I had no idea where I was going to get a job from that where I live. So
right.
I often wonder, like someone goes to college and they're majoring in Sanskrit or something, and it's like, what job are you picturing yourself getting?
Yeah.
Or even like philosophy. Honestly, though, what do people still get jobs in philosophy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of them just write books, I guess. I don't know.
Manifold brought us back
Well, I
to
mean,
topic.
that's one thing. I mean, I was having this argument with someone. I actually did a live stream with him, and then he like took a couple of steps too far in an email exchange, and I told him to fuck off. But there was one point where he and we were talking about philosophy and about great philosophers, and I kept pointing out to him that every time he tried to make a philosophical point, he would quote one of these philosophers by name. And I was like, if their ideas are part of your argument, just say it instead of trying to argue from authority with them. And at one point, he said, like, oh, how can you possibly think that you know better than these philosophers? You know, because I kept telling him, come up with your own arguments. And he was like, but these are the wise ones, essentially, is what he said. He didn't put it that way, but that's what he was saying. And I was like, I wonder if they might have something to learn from me, if I might have an idea or two to introduce to them. And he goes, oh my gosh, how arrogant are you? I'm like, arrogant? To think that I might have something to offer? But I mean, that sort of belies the mindset of people like this, where it's like, no, these are the people who are so far above us. We could never equal them. We could never hope to. So don't go getting any ideas about being smart or nothing.
Don't worry, that pretty little head of yours.
But I mean,
oh yeah, there's nothing worse than having that said to you, is there? Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm sure you don't understand.
Fuck you.
Yeah. I've actually had that said to me. I was picking up some parts for building a electronic switch system, and I actually asked a question about something, and they explained it, and then I asked another question, and they go, "Don't worry about it. This is definitely the right part. I'm sure you don't understand it." And they go, "Fuck off. Can I speak to somebody else, please?"
Next.
Like, no, you're not doing that to me. I do actually know what I'm talking about, but I'm asking a question about this specific product, you dipshit.
Ugh, that's terrible.
I had the same thing when I bought this air cooler unit, because I bothered to do my research on it because I knew what I wanted for in here, and because that's just an evaporative cooler, but it's got one of the more advanced high-tech pads in it, so that you don't need as much surface area to humidify the air and get the cooling in on it. So therefore you don't put as much water in the air to get as much cooling, which is a lot better if you don't want to make the room incredibly humid. And I can't use refrigerated cooling in here, unfortunately. And I'd researched it all, walked in the store, asked them, looked at it, and he goes, I don't understand any of it. So I spent the next 20 minutes giving him the spiel he should have given me about how to sell it, because he kept asking me questions about how the stupid thing works. So I'm like, yeah, don't just assume we don't know anything, because I'm quite capable of reading and researching something and knowing what I'm talking about most of the time. Yeah. I'll admit that I don't always know what I'm talking about, because who does? Who does? And I have occasionally tried to bullshit my way through something.
I always know what I'm talking about. It's just that sometimes I'm talking about total shite.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, generally when we start talking total shite, somebody figures it out. So
yeah,
that's the downside of talking total shite.
It is kind of fun when you meet someone whose knowledge base is definitely below your own, and then just sort of messing with them a little.
Oh yeah.
Throw in like terminology and technobabble that doesn't exist in any way, shape, or form. Maybe you stole it off Star Trek or something, and see how much they buy it. It's like those people on the street where you try to tell them about the dangers of dihydrogen monoxide.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
or ask them if Homo sapiens should have equal rights. That kind of thing.
Oh, I love that one, especially when you do it to some of the really low-hanging fruit of bigotry. No homos deserve rights. Okay.
Looking for the really dumb ones and tell them their epidermis is showing. That gem.
Yeah.
You should cover up your epidermis.
Absolutely.
I've been known to rollerblade with all of my epidermis showing.
All of it.
There are pictures of that, Kate.
Well, except the bits covered up in rollerblades, obviously.
Yeah,
and paint.
obviously. It's
Well,
scandalous.
yes, and paint. And paint.
But like I said, I've seen pictures of that.
I think so far most of the world.
I'd like to point out, Kate, hot as hell.
Wait, say that again?
Hot as hell.
She's hitting on you.
I'm not hitting on her.
It was springtime. It was actually quite chilly.
Was it? Oh, damn it. It didn't appear to be that way.
Well, it was a tidbit nipply.
All right. I have, since we're not going to do the last article, I have a suggestion for a way we could wrap up the show to borrow from Chris, just our craziest Twitter engagement that we've had all week.
Oh. Damn. I've had so many.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster this week. Well, I may have to do a little research on this, go back through my Twitter notifications and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Because, man, have I had a lot of conversations on Twitter that went kind of sideways.
Yeah. Hold on. I can find mine, but I have to...
Yeah, I had somebody declare, I posted it into one of our groups actually, so I'll see if I can find it. And I think that was the weirdest discussion I had. I
think mine would be Cal, I think, so far.
Oh, no, it wasn't. It was when I was talking to, yeah, I did post it, but I posted it with Sasha.
Well, I can tell you this much. I was going through my my Twitter followers and discovered that I'm being followed by none other than Brett Keane.
Oh,
and
yes,
I'm wondering how the hell that happened.
Wow. I was really confused the other day because Ray Comfort started following me. I was like, what the fuck? Because I obviously misread it, and thought it was the actual Ray Comfort. Because it's the same, icon, the face and everything. It just, the one letter has changed. And I fuck with him. Jen knows, almost every day. It's
Ray Comfort is just nuts.
How could I tell him to fuck off today? I haven't in a week, though, but... Yeah, that was really confusing.
I had a big long discussion the other day with a group of people, and somebody in it who's a heavy follower of social constructivism tried to argue that gravity was a social construct.
What?
Yeah. How?
Yeah, I know.
Oh my god.
How?
I'm like, yeah, okay, the language we use to describe gravity is a social construct because we construct language within society. Gravity itself is a fact. It happens.
Yeah.
Oh, but it might not be what we think it is. Regardless, it's still gravity. Regardless of the mechanism that creates gravity, gravity is still gravity and will always still be gravity. It's not a social fucking construct.
Yeah, but it's different on every planet, though. So
yeah, but only because the
well,
mass
they're
of
not
those
as
planets are
enlightened on
different.
Mars, are they?
Sorry?
I said they're not as enlightened on Mars, are they? That's why the gravity is lower.
Is that technically a dad joke?
I don't know what the hell kind of joke that was. I just know I made it.
Oh, I like Gaz's one. I refuse to abide to gravity's agenda. Hey, maybe that's how Superman flies. He just doesn't agree with the politics of gravity.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I think that was the best statement I had said to me today. This week, sorry. That was like, what? How? What? Hey, how do you get there?
Right?
Well, it may not be the weirdest Twitter conversation I had recently, but I got curious about something and asked people and no one had an answer. Was, you know how Superman can shoot heat beams out of his eyes, right?
Yeah, I read that.
Well, without closing one of them, can he do it from just one eye and not the other?
I was thinking about responding to that, and I could not. I could not think of a way to make that work.
Isn't that kind of the same sort of crazy arguments like people have about Thor's hammer?
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, but it wasn't so much an argument. I just wanted to know if there was any example of him ever doing it. Because, I mean, I guess what I was picturing was fire 1, fire 2, fire 1, fire 2, like doing it like
a machine gun.
Like that. Yeah, I was wondering if Superman could do that. And nobody knows, apparently. Okay. Nobody knows.
It's going to be one of those mysteries, I guess.
Well, Cyclops can't in
X-Men?
In X-Men, yeah, thank you. But Cyclops' eyes are always going, aren't they? The visor.
Yeah, I think that's why he has to wear that visor thing, and I don't know.
That brings up questions all on its own. How the hell did he not kill his mother?
Maybe his mutant powers manifested later.
Oh, that's true, because that does happen in the comics, doesn't it? That they manifest.
Honestly, I wouldn't know. I'm surprised I know this much about X-Men. It's just that, for a while in high school, I went on a Shadowrun jag, and one of the things about Shadowrun is that a person can be born seemingly completely normal human, but then there's the quote-unquote goblinization process where they might become an orc or a troll later in life, like around about puberty or something. And so maybe some of the X-Men powers manifest later in life. I don't know.
Out of puberty. Yeah.
I'm just guessing here because seriously, I'm not sure I've even held an X-Men comic in my hand. And yet somehow I know.
It just made me wonder. It's like, how does that work? And which of course brings you to the question, did Wolverine cut his own way out?
Okay, I've had weird discussions with people. Apparently, there's like 2 alternate universes where his claws were installed or they were natural.
His original claws in the books were made of bone, so they were bone claws,
right.
And then he had the adamantium put into his body to replace his normal skeleton, and then his skeleton became adamantium. So that's why he ended up with metal skeletons. I only know that from the movies.
Well, I've noticed that a lot of times movies will take a few liberties from the source material, like in the Spider-Man movies, or at least the ones with Tobey Maguire. The spider webs was something he could just do because it was part of the mutation. Whereas, as I understand it in the comics, it was always a device that he had built.
The original Peter Parker Spider-Man had built his own web devices, but the later and so did Miles Morales' Spider-Man, but Spider-Man 2099 had organic web shooters, as did Spider-Woman. So
I'm just saying that you can't necessarily say, well, the movie said it, therefore it's canon.
Oh no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Chris says it's comic accurate.
I don't know. Most of the comics I read,
the adamantium covering his bones later is comic accurate about Wolverine, is what he was talking about. So
okay.
As you would know, Chris, you're a comic book thingy.
Well, as I say, most of the comic books I read were not so much in the superhero vein. I mean, we're talking ElfQuest and Strangers in Paradise here, Akira, that kind of thing.
I just
Star
Wars comics. Those are the only comics I read. So.
Oh, this is your question to end the stream with, wasn't it, Amanda?
Fine.
Yeah.
So
what was yours, Amanda? What was your weird tweet this week?
No, it's just that, like, what's it been going on 4 days now with Cal?
Oh, Cal is amazing.
Yeah,
I don't have context.
He's a Christian apologetics who is next to useless at apologetics because he doesn't actually know his history or his Bible very well.
No. But, like, I mean, we've been literally going on for days. There's a few of us, like Jen and
I've only interacted with him about 3 times because I just...
Becca and William, and there's a bunch of us. But, like, the best response he gave so far was, come on, we all know God exists. Like
it comes down to that eventually, doesn't it? They all end up heading to that presupposition of we all know.
Yeah,
So, but we don't. Come on, we categorically prove that there are people who don't know that your God exists.
Yeah.
We keep telling him over and over again, you cannot use scripture as evidence. It doesn't work. You need something outside. But every time he just keeps quoting that scripture like it's going to fucking work.
He could use scripture as evidence as long as he had corroborate. Oh, crap. Now I can't say a word. You know the word.
Corroborating
evidence to go with it. That wasn't biblical.
Trying to get him to understand what, like, the secondary sources are, but he comes back and says, atheists are ignorant and whatever. It's okay. Well, sure. We're the ones with, that showing you how to think logically here and critically, think critically, because we're critical bitches. And he's just like, but my God, pretty much it's his only answer.
That's where they always end up going once they realize they haven't got any other arguments. Because basically their argument comes down to, but I like my God.
Yeah, he makes me feel good.
Yeah,
and you're the bad guy here. So
it's almost something sexual, isn't it? With them, they're releasing the same kind of endorphins that love does. So,
right?
I don't know. One of these days, I want to like. If I were ever to get into government, it would probably be to play pranks on people, like those guys who say, "Okay, we need to get prayer in school." And I would be like, okay, yes, let's get prayer in school. Let's get Mumbo Jumbo, monkey god of the Congo, to be the god everyone's praying to in our schools. And when they look horrified, I'm like, no, okay, and fill in whatever god, every god except the Christian god until we get to the very end of it.
Yeah.
And then before mentioning Christians, it'd be like, so which god did you mean?
Yeah. That's perfect.
But I mean, that's why I would never be in government, because my entire career would be a lead up to one really bad dad joke or something. I don't know.
It'd be entertaining as fuck, though.
It would. So. You'd make a good president.
Well, did you see that one dude, and I totally forget his weird ass name, but the guy wearing the boot on his head, like, actually won an election.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I do.
Some weird ass name that I cannot remember, but he actually won a post in government.
Well, people want to be entertained, I guess. I mean, fuck, we put a Cheeto in the White House, so.
Oh, hell, for a couple of years, Arnold Schwarzenegger was running California.
Yeah, I remember that. And, Jesse Ventura, we had a wrestler in was it Michigan? He was governor of Michigan.
Arizona.
What?
I thought it was Arizona.
No, I lived in Arizona at the time. I'm pretty sure it was Michigan.
Yeah.
Well,
and I still remember. Wow, totally blanking on his name now. Stand-up comedian dude who ended up in this. Yes, Al Franken. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, he is a really good politician, though, and it was sad the way that he had to step down because of shit.
Yeah. But honestly, I think he was a better comedian than a politician. But that's
absolutely. But comparatively speaking to who we have there now, he did have some decent policies, and he speaks very well. Like he can kind of traverse the divide between people that don't totally understand politics and the pulp culture of it. So that's what I liked about him. So anyway.
No, well, we've done an hour and a half, ladies. So should we call it a show? And
sure.
Do you want to show yourself out, Kate?
All right. Well, my name is Kate, also known as BionicDance. I have a YouTube channel where I find people making arguments about religion and tell them exactly why they're wrong. I pepper my videos with all kinds of animation as well. So if you dig on that kind of thing, come on over.
And you should go and follow Kate. If you're not already subbed to her, go do it. She's amazing.
She's awesome.
I doubt any of you aren't subbed to her, but go sub to her if you want. Amanda, you're on Twitter at the moment.
Yeah, I'm nobody. So
yeah, your links are all in the description, people.
Amanda
will be starting a YouTube channel eventually. I believe. And this show will be shared between both my channel and Amanda's, so we'll premiere on different channels at different times, depending. So
me and Atheist Pastor are starting a channel too.
As well.
We're doing a channel for it's called Exodus, geared toward agnostic and atheist teens and answering their questions and stuff that that they can't just go to their parents about or whatever. So.
Yep, and on Monday night, my time, myself, Becca, as in Danger Hissy, and Donna, whose surname I can't remember at the moment. I'm sorry, Donna. We'll be hosting a show, my show on communications, where we'll be talking about dyslexia, which should be quite interesting. There's 3 dyslexics trying to have a coherent conversation should be amazing.
Well, just remember, if it's a complicated topic, start at the beginning.
Is that where you're
then
supposed
get to
start?
the end and then finish in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a Lizdexia joke. I'll just
be Lizdexia joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an old joke, a good joke, but an oldie. It's another one joke, isn't it? Nobody gets that reference because we were talking about that before the show.
I cannot thank Kate enough for this. This is our first show that we've done of this, and you coming on, just awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's just I have to apologize because from now on it'll just be downhill from here.
Yeah, I don't know how we're ever going to get another guest of your caliber again, Kate. We've peaked. We might as well give up now.
The show.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I'm not sure what date the next one of these will be on. We're trying to fit them around our guests somewhat because we know it's quite hard to get guests on at the right time. So keep watching. We'll let you know when the show will be on, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Have fun. Don't get caught.